Yes, dear SYBSC students, in the physics paper 1 in the semester 2, the title of the paper is Oscillation, Waves and Sound. There are 3 chapters on oscillations, 1 chapter on waves, and there are 2 chapters on this particular sound. So out of that entire syllabus, as per discussion or the guidelines from Pune University, the entire syllabus is for your internal as well as external examination. So we will begin with first chapter of our syllabus, that is simple harmonic oscillations. Here in this case we are going to describe or we are going to discuss the important aspects of this particular chapter, what we are discussing till now, and from the examination point of view, what this particular chapter carries or how it is important, etc. These things we will discuss here mathematically as well as graphically. Sometimes I am going to show some presentations, presentation in the sense some simulations will be shown, and through that we are going to understand this concept of what do you mean by simple harmonic oscillations. In 12th standard or before than that, you have studied something about the simple harmonic oscillator. So pendulum is a simple harmonic oscillator, or a sieving machine, or the needle of the sieving machine. There can be several examples can be given, which are examples of this simple harmonic motion. Now before going for this simple harmonic motion, we have to learn something very important concepts required in mathematics as well as physics. What are these concepts that will be discussed here in brief? This is the content of this chapter. In the this chapter, what we are going to learn, that are the different types of equilibrium, stable and unstable. What do you mean by equilibrium? How to define stable, unstable and neutral equilibrium. Then another important point is how to define this oscillatory motion, how it is defined. Then there is a spring mass system, how this spring mass system works as a simple harmonic oscillator, its physics as well as mathematical expressions. For that we are going to discuss in detail. Then another important parameters in case of this simple harmonic oscillator is its displacement and its velocity. How to calculate displacement, velocity, acceleration of this type of simple harmonic oscillator, what it represents. Once we understood that, we can understand the concept of periodic time as well as frequency. These two very important parameters of any simple harmonic oscillator that decides lot many properties of that oscillator. Displacement and acceleration is another point. Then once this oscillator is set in motion, it has two different types of energies, that is called as the potential energy as well as kinetic energy. How to get potential energy, kinetic energy, total energy of this oscillator. Then how to represent these energies on the graph, when which energy will be maximum and which energy will be minimum. That can be understood very easily using this type of graphs. Then there is clear-cut application of this simple harmonic motion, that is Lissajous figures. Before that, there is a small derivation. Actually that derivation we are not going to learn here, but there is a phenomenon called as composition or superposition of two simple harmonic motion. So what is the resultant path followed by an object when it is acted upon by two simple harmonic motion in perpendicular direction, in any other different directions, depending upon their frequencies, depending upon their amplitude, the resultant obtained may be different at every different point of time, and that is how that gives rise to a certain figures, very interesting figures, patterns, which are called as Lissajous figures. And at the end we are going to see some examples of angular SHM, that is our simple pendulum, what we see in the laboratory, and the another example case is that is called as simple pendulum. Please note, in this entire chapter we are not considering any resistive force or the damping force. That means oscillator is completely free of resistance, either by medium resistance or material resistance or anything. So that is, this type of oscillators are usually called as ideal oscillators. That means oscillators in practice which are usually not ideal oscillators, these are practical oscillators. So this entire discussion of this particular chapter is based upon that theme, that we are not having any resistance to the oscillator, only the restoring force is there is no damping force, and therefore motion is free. That's why this entire chapter is called as free oscillations too. If you go for this is also called as free oscillations. So free oscillations or undamped. There are two different words. So this word is also used in some books. Undamped oscillations, or that is nothing but simple harmonic oscillation. Now simple, okay, there are three words: harmonics, harmonic, and oscillations. What is the meaning of these three words? No need to discuss meaning of this word. Simple, it is simple as usual. Oscillation is the periodic motion or the motion which of this type: particle oscillates about this mean position or object oscillates about this mean position. This is oscillation. Linear oscillation, circular oscillation, angular oscillations, lot many types of oscillations are there. We are going to see some examples. What is the meaning of this word harmonic? Can anyone tell me? What do you mean by harmonic? So harmonic is the function which can be expressed, either in terms of sine or cos. These are called as trigonometric functions. So whenever path of an object, if it is undergoing this type of motion, if it is calculated or if it is traced using this trigonometric sine and cos functions, such functions are called as harmonic functions. So try to understand. Harmonic functions means the functions, mathematical functions, which can be represented in terms of trigonometric sine and cos. So this motion is simple, no complicated motion. It is oscillatory. Oscillatory means it's a periodic motion. It is going to and fro, coming back and again going ahead and like that. And it is harmonic means it is being represented by the functions which are in terms of sine and cos, which are called as trigonometric functions. And that's why this entire motion is called as simple harmonic motion. This is the description of this first thing of this particular case. Before, as I said, before going to these oscillators, we must discuss something about equilibrium. Now equilibrium in English it is called as equilibrium. In Marathi we use word, there is this. Okay, can you read? Okay, this is संतुलन आहे की त्याला आपण म्हणतो मराठीमध्ये. In English it is called as equilibrium. And now equilibrium is defined in a very single statement as given here. The body is said to be in equilibrium at a point when, now this is a very important word, the net force, net means total force, summation of the forces, Fi, this is equal to 0. So the body is said to be in equilibrium at a point, wherever it is kept, when net force acting on the body at that point is 0. And whenever such type of situation occurs for any object, it is not acted by any of the force, or the sum total of the total forces, net forces acting over that object is simply equal to 0, then such a state of an object is called as an equilibrium. In physics we have three different types of equilibrium. So these types are as follows. First one is called as stable. Stable in the sense that equilibrium is stable one. So we get something stable out of that particular type of motion or that type of equilibrium. So it is stable equilibrium. Second type is called as unstable. So what stable? Opposite to that it is unstable. So stable, unstable words are very common and we know all these words. So we need not go into meanings of this stable and unstable. And finally there is one more type which is called as neutral equilibrium. So this is said to be neither stable nor unstable. So whenever there is such situation, when the object is neither in the stable equilibrium or unstable equilibrium, it is called as a neutral equilibrium. Now let's try to understand these equilibriums with following examples as well as some simulations. Now this is what is called as a potential curve. I have shown there are three different points. Now whenever object is placed here, okay, placed here, and if it is given certain push either this direction or this direction, it will try to go or follow like this path. Same is the case for B. When this object is kept at B, again this object is going to follow this path or this path, provided a small motion is provided to that, or sometimes spontaneously on its own it may come down. If this object is kept here, now this object is kept here at this point, if it is provided in this direction it will go here. If it is provided some force in this direction, it will go here and this will go down. Now this type of equilibrium is again called as unstable equilibrium. This is unstable equilibrium. Whereas this point C or below this point C, if this object is placed here and if it is either moved here or moved here, it will again fall back to its original position. This type of equilibrium is called as stable equilibrium. So in terms of this potential energy curve, you will find that this potential energy goes on increasing as we go from this position to this position. From C to A, this potential energy goes on increasing. So there is some relationship between potential energy and equilibrium. So these relationships we are going to understand with the help of further diagrams that will be seen as follows. So just understand, this is valley and there is a hill. We are coming from hill to the valley, or we are climbing from valley to the this hill, and in that journey we come across certain points where now this actually these are called as slope of that particular tangent drawn to these points. These slopes may be positive, negative or zero, and based upon that these particular points can be described as the point of stable equilibrium, point of unstable equilibrium, as well as point of neutral equilibrium as follows. Okay, for that purpose we can understand following things. Now look, this is one vessel. Vessel means a pot in which certain object has been placed at its center as shown in the graph. Now let's see, let's try to imagine or try to understand what stable equilibrium means. Now I am just displacing this object here. Okay, this object is displaced here and now it is being thrown. Now what will happen? This object will perform this type of motion, which is nothing but the simple harmonic motion. So that means you'll understand, to have this type of stable equilibrium and for a object to perform this type of simple harmonic motion, it is required to be in a stable equilibrium. So this is what a situation when this object is slightly displaced from this position. This particular position is called as mean position, and this is the point of the stable equilibrium. So when this object is switched or shifted from this location and released, then it starts rotating, moving like this in a periodic motion or simple harmonic motion. That's what we will understand. For having this type of simple harmonic motion, we always need this type of stable equilibrium position. And now based upon that we can go for one simple thing here. So what is this meaning of this stable equilibrium? If a slight displacement of particle from its equilibrium position, this is what the equilibrium position when it was earlier in the beginning. Sorry, this object was here, it is it was in equilibrium position, results only in small bounded motion. So this is the bounded motion about the point of equilibrium, then it is said to be the stable equilibrium. So we'll read once again this statement. If a slight displacement of particle from its equilibrium position results only in small bounded motion about the point of equilibrium, then it is said to be in the stable equilibrium. So this is the example, this is the simulation that tells you what do you mean by stable equilibrium. So this point of where initially this object was kept, this ball was kept, this point is called as point of the stable equilibrium. This is one very simple and common example. Now to understand next things of this, let's get, there is some potential versus distance. So I have written plus A on the right hand side, minus A on the right hand side, and let there be a potential of this type. So this potential energy curve that is shown to be increasing on both sides symmetrically. So on the right hand side this increases this way, on the left hand side it increases in this way. This is actually, it is called as parabolic potential. So parabolic potential, if we write expression for that, it is of the form y is equal to ax square. So this is the equation for parabola. So this particular parabolic equation represents this type of potential as shown here, which we have seen in earlier example. Now here in this case, let's assume there is some point A, and at this point, through this point I am drawing a vertical on this x-axis, which will cross this x-axis as shown here on this particular point. Now let's draw a tangent to this point A, to this particular curve or this particular potential curve v of x at point A. And remember this particular point, the location of this capital A from origin on the x-axis is shown by this particular arrow. And now I am drawing, this is the distance taken to be x, that is said to be displacement x. And now let's draw a tangent to this curve passing through this point, and it is crossing this particular x-axis somewhere here. this is the point it is crossing there. Now try to get its slope. For getting slope, this is the tangent. For getting slope, we have to take some vertical distance. This is dv. So this vertical distance is dv, and this horizontal distance is given to be dx. So this is dx, and this is the distance which is called as dv. Now this dv upon dx gives you slope to the tangent which is drawn to this curve at this point E. So slope is given by dv upon dx. This slope is found from the geometry. Here we can see that this slope is going to be positive, because this particular slope is it is less than, angle is less than 45 degrees, therefore slope is always found to be positive in this case, since we are in the first quadrant. Now if the slope is positive, we know that in earlier in mathematical methods of physics we have seen this force in the system is called as gradient of, minus gradient of some potential. So del grad v or grad phi, sometimes whatever we can take here, I am taking grad phi. Grad phi is equal to, minus grad phi is equal to the force acting in this particular system, or force existing at that point in this particular type of force field. So this is the definition, nothing but operating this del operator on this x, I'll get this is to be dv by dx. Therefore mathematically the force in this case is given to be F is equal to minus times dv upon dx, but this dv upon dx obtained in this case is positive, slope is positive, this is what the slope, and therefore when one gets here from this particular case, I can understand this particular expression or the direction of F is going to be minus dv upon dx. So it is dv upon dx positive, so this F in this case is directed towards this negative x-axis, or it will have a negative direction, means opposite direction to the direction of the displacement. That's what it is shown by this particular big arrow there, and therefore we say that this is what the force and we have drawn there. This force is negative, that is it is directed towards the equilibrium position. This O is the equilibrium position as in this case. So what I did, for this curve on the right hand side at point A, we have drawn a tangent, we have obtained its slope. This slope is positive according to our definition of this force. Force is given by gradient, negative gradient of the potential, and that finally we obtain this expression F is equal to minus dv upon dx. Since this dv upon dx is positive, the force obtained in this case is having negative direction or towards the equilibrium position as shown by this capital F bar. So this is what the force that has been shown on that particular side. Now we can just exactly do same thing on the left hand side, where we are choosing one more point, that is B, and from this B point again I am getting intercept on this x-axis, on the negative x-axis, that is touching at there as shown this point. Now further this distance is obtained to be minus x. So this displacement, in earlier case displacement was positive, in this case now displacement is going to be negative. Again from this point B, draw similar tangent to this particular curve as shown here, get the slope of this tangent. Now this time if slope is obtained from the geometry, we get slope of this particular line which is in the fourth quadrant, and in this case this slope is found to be negative. So slope of this particular tangent which is drawn to this curve at point B is negative, and therefore here in this case also if I go for this force minus, that means our F is defined to be minus gradient. So actually this is gradient is defined by minus, this is minus slope, therefore it becomes minus minus is plus times slope or plus times gradient. So force in this case is going to be positive. In earlier case this force was negative, in this case this force is positive, that means it is looking towards again this original equilibrium point, or this is O. So direction of the force in this case is in the positive direction of the x-axis. Earlier case direction of the force in this case was in the direction of negative x-axis, that force is negative. This time force is positive, and therefore this force is looking towards this equilibrium position. That means on this curve these points and A and B are such that if we draw tangent to these particular points at this case, and if their slopes are obtained, one slope is positive, second slope is negative, accordingly force at A is having direction towards this equilibrium point, as well as force if it is calculated at the direction at the point B is also having direction always towards this equilibrium point O. So whether we are looking on the positive side or we are looking on the negative side doesn't matter. The slope is positive or negative, and that gives the direction of this F is always towards this particular equilibrium point, and that is the requirement of all these types of motions which are called as the simple harmonic motion. Actually we would have gone to this. Okay, now this is first case. Thus this is the second, which is called as unstable equilibrium. Now everything will be able to tell what will happen if I displace this object slightly either on the left hand side or right hand side. In the unstable equilibrium, it is in equilibrium but it unstable, then it is shifted, it will just go slightly like this, and now if it is pushed here way, this will go like this. So in case of unstable equilibrium, this object is supposed to follow this type of path. So if a slight displacement of the particle from its equilibrium position results in unbounded motion, in earlier case it was bounded, in this case it is in an unbounded motion away from the equilibrium position, then it is said to be in the unstable equilibrium. So these two diagrams tell you directly what is stable equilibrium and what is unstable equilibrium, and this is not supposed to be happen in case of the simple harmonic motion. If there is an unstable unstable equilibrium, then there won't be a simple harmonic motion. If there is a stable equilibrium, then there is a simple harmonic motion. So that to understand this, we have gone for this particular idea here. Here also, if this potential is plotted, this potential is again exactly similar nature, only it is shifted in the sense it is the mirror image of the earlier potential, but this time this potential becomes maximum at equilibrium position O, and this becomes minimum on both sides, plus A and minus A. So on the x-axis, this at plus A potential is 0, on the minus A the potential is 0, and at 0 or origin the potential has maximum value as shown here. In this case also, again there are 2 points, one point A on the right hand side, get its intercept on this x-axis. Now that will give you the displacement positive x as what we shown in this particular diagram. Now draw a tangent to this curve at this point A, get the slope of this tangent, and this slope this time will found to be negative. So this slope is going to be dv upon dx, but since this time is vertically, okay, it is beyond this slope of this particular point is going to be negative, and therefore according to our definition of this f is equal to minus grad phi, this minus this becomes positive. That means in this case the force is found to be positive, and this is going away from this equilibrium position. So from this equilibrium position, this force goes away as shown here. So this is what F has been written there. That is happening on the right hand side. Now therefore the force is positive, or minus that becomes positive. That is what the force is directed away from the equilibrium position as shown in this particular graph. Now same thing if repeated on the left hand side for this point B, you will get these type of following steps. You can very easily identify this time this slope, this displacement is minus x, tangent drawn in this case is as shown by this, get a slope of this particular tangent at point B. This slope is given by change in V divided by change in x, that is dv upon dx, and this time this slope is going to be positive. If this slope is positive, then the force acting in this case is given to be negative force, or the force going in the negative x direction, which is shown by this particular arrow here. So in both of these cases, we have shown the forces are having their direction opposite to the opposite, and their directions are always showing away from that particular equilibrium positions, whether we are on the left hand side of the curve or on the right hand side of the curve, and this is the situation. So force is negative, that is it is always directed away from the equilibrium position, and such type of equilibrium is called as unstable equilibrium. So that is what this stable and unstable equilibrium are, these two cases. Now sometimes if there is stable equilibrium as well as unstable equilibrium simultaneously at a particular point, there are certain situations where there is neither bounded motion nor there is a completely free motion or unbounded motion. So such type of equilibrium is called as this neutral equilibrium. So this is in that case particular, this dv upon dx is to be equal to 0, neither positive nor negative, and if this dv upon dx is equal to 0, then such a point is called as the point of the neutral equilibrium. So these are the three different types of equilibrium we have learned a little bit about in this case. Now in this another point we are going to shift, or we are going to study this, what is called as oscillatory motion. It's very simple. With some examples we can show what this oscillatory motion is. Now read here: any motion that repeats itself after equal interval of time is called as periodic time. Now anything around us, there are many such type of cases we can see here. So there are such periodic type of motions are occurring, and that all types of motions are called as this oscillatory motion. Now suppose this is an object which is rotating about this circle as shown here, maybe elliptical motion and whatever, circular motion, whatever. This is called as a repeated motion or oscillatory motion. Another example I can show here. This is something repeating like this, stopping at one point, and it is following same path after every rotation, and this type of motion is also called as an oscillatory motion. Another common example can be given. This is a simple harmonic motion. So here this object is moving from end A and another end, that means it is moving from one end to another end repeatedly in equal interval of time. So this word is very important. Okay, equal intervals of time, this motion is repeated again and again. Such type of motions are called as oscillatory motions, or they are also called as periodic motion. So this is the definition of this type of periodic motion. Now further I can go here. So if an object in periodic motion moves back and forth over the same path, that is again requirement, the motion is called as oscillatory or vibratory motion, or it is also called as periodic motion. So periodic motion, when it follows same path back and forth, when it object moves back and forth over the same path, then the motion is called as oscillatory motion. Now following are the two more examples. This is simple harmonic motion. So this object moves to and fro from the equilibrium position in such a manner, this is forming a periodic motion, and this is an oscillatory motion, or this is along a line, therefore it is a linear simple harmonic motion. This is another motion. Actually this simulation should have been a good one. It is not working that way. This object would have been traveling from one point to another point through this curved path, and this type of motion is called as this angular simple harmonic motion. So these are the different types of examples which shows you what are the oscillatory motions, what are the periodic motions, and these type of aspects can be learned in this particular case as from these particular diagrams. Now there is another very simple example which is called as spring mass system. Let's there take to be a certain spring which is attached to a certain mass, and it is in a relaxed mode. Relaxed mode means neither this spring is compressed nor this is extended. This is at the steady position, and therefore there won't be any movement of this object M. We are calling this to be it's at equilibrium position, that is to be x is equal to 0. So this mode is called as the relaxed mode. Now next, if this particular spring is now stretched, so this object is moved toward this positive x direction. This is said as positive displacement. X is said to be positive displacement, and in this case there will be some restoring force will be introduced inside this spring, and this is called as this extended mode. So the spring is in the extended position, whereas in the third diagram we can show the spring is compressed. So in this time this displacement is minus x, and that is shown here. The spring is often to be in the found to be in the compressed mode, and therefore this mode is called as compressed mode. So whatever may be the situation, relaxed mode, extended mode, compressed mode, there has to be some displacement. Here displacement x is equal to 0, here displacement x is positive, here displacement x is negative. These are the three cases, and here in this case we know that for an ideal spring the force is related to displacement by, what is that relation? So this is one very interesting and important thing we have to understand all the time. In such a case, this force is always proportional to minus x. So it is proportional to the displacement and always opposite to the direction of the displacement. That means if the displacement is the positive x direction, the force is in the negative x direction. So this is the force. If the displacement is in the negative x direction, this is the displacement, then the force is in the positive x direction. So that's what every time this force acting over this particular object or this mass because of the spring is going to be in the opposite to the direction of its displacement. That means as shown here in this second diagram, this x is shown to be in this direction, force is shown to be in this direction as this blue arrow. whereas in the third diagram, this force displacement is shown to be in the negative x direction, and this force is shown to be towards this equilibrium position, and it is in the positive f direction, or f positive x direction. So f is said to be positive. So anyhow, this is what the expression. So this equation for inequality can be written by this equation by writing certain constant which is given by minus k into x. So k is not minus, but this is x, this minus sign is associated with the displacement, and this k here numerically it is called as force constant, which is given by force per unit displacement. So this k which you use in these calculations or all this type of examples, this k is called as this force constant. So you should remember, this is called as a force constant, and this force constant can be calculated by force per unit displacement. So therefore units can be defined as, this is force means it is given in newtons, divided by displacement is given in meters. This is your MKS units, whereas in CGS units, Newton, this force is defined by dynes and measured by dynes, and this displacement is measured in centimeter. So both newtons per meter or dynes per centimeter are the units for the measurement of this force constant k. You can go for dimensions too. Dimensions of force are, okay, you can find out dimensions. Dimensions of force are mass into acceleration. So m raised to 1, acceleration is L raised to 1 and T raised to minus 2. This is the mass into acceleration, that is going to be force. And if it is divided by displacement, again that will have L raised to 1. Dimensionally this gives you m raised to 1, L raised to 0 and T raised to minus 2. So remember, these are the certain points where you can ask the numerical questions or these MCQs in your examination related to this force constant. So in case of such type of periodic motion or this type of spring mass system, the force constant or the spring constant defined has dimensions. You have to just find out the dimensions using this simple method and get these dimensions as m raised to 1, L raised to 0 and T raised to minus 2. Sometimes you are asked the unit of the CGS unit of the force constant is, you have to go for this answer, dynes per centimeter. Sometimes same question can be repeated or can be asked that the units of the force constants in MKS system is newtons per meter. So newtons per meter is in MKS, dynes per centimeter in CGS, that is defined as the force constant in this case, and its dimensions are given by this m raised to 1, L raised to 0 and T raised to minus 2. So this type of small problems, small examples may be asked. Once we know that the equation for the force in this such type of case and their displacement, they are given by F is equal to minus kx. So remember, this is the only force we are having in such type of motion, and that decides further course. Only one force. Now this force is called as restoring force, and this force is responsible for this type of motion in continuation or further motion, and this force we are equating with this Newton's law of motion, and then we are getting its equation of motion or differential equation of motion and all these things. So in this first chapter, as I said in the beginning, we are supposed to deal with only one force which is having a nature F is equal to minus kx, and that force is called as the restoring force. Okay, so this is a restoring force. There is no resistive force or there is no external periodic force. This restoring force is given by F is equal to minus kx. So remember this relationship. With the help of this relationship, we are going to define lot many other things in the next few chapters here. So these are some examples I have shown here. This first example is showing the simple harmonic motion or linear simple harmonic motion of that object. Because of the spring, it is in the horizontal direction, so plus x or minus x, and whereas second diagram shows you this is a spring which is attached to a certain mass and it has given certain motion. Now this spring compresses and gets elongated, compresses and get elongated. This type of motion is called as periodic motion or simple harmonic motion, linear simple harmonic motion. This is the real space. In the real space, we look this as the motion. If this particular diagram is plotted in the phase space means it has momentum or velocity and displacement. So velocity and displacement or velocity and momentum. So this type of space is called as phase space. In case of phase space, this path followed by this object is looked to be this as a circle as shown here. In this case, now look here, this path is just this type of path, to and fro. This is the real space. And in phase space, the phase space where we are plotting the graph using this displacement and momentum, or displacement and velocity, this graph followed by this object is shown to be a circle as shown by this particular case. So path followed by simple harmonic oscillator in real space is this. Path followed by this simple harmonic oscillator in phase space is this circle as shown by here. So that is, try to understand. In further higher classes we are going to use this concept of phase space very frequently. At that time we will require this understanding of the simple harmonic oscillator. I hope we will stop here, because already it's 11. We have at the end of this, and in the next lecture in the afternoon we will cover the remaining things there. Okay, till then let's goodbye. Don't leave. Let me take the attendance. Thank you for attendance of this lecture.